All right, we're live. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
We're the Hebrew Israelites back again with another lesson through the spirit power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Before we begin this lesson, we're going to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh
Yahweh, Bahashem,
Bahasham, Yahushai,
Yahushai, Bahashem,
Bahasham,
Bracha,
Bracha,
Kodash.
Kodash. All right, double honors to the elders and the apostles, great millstone who rule well. Shalom to you, Akwaf in order that may be watching. Shalom to you, Israelites scattered abroad. It may look like these other nations, but you see, the line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, making you a Hebrew Israelite regardless of your appearance. And Shalom to you, brothers on highways and hedges, teaching the elect in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom. So you see the title of the lesson today. It says, "We built theirs, they will build ours." Now, this is lining up with the, the flavor of the week, right? Because you got a lot of people that are teaching bugged out doctrines and just basically, in a nutshell, being sifted as we approach the end, okay? Because the Lord is looking for that fine gold, and now it's becoming evident as to who is and who isn't, that fine gold. And Great Millstone are enduring to the end, which is what we need to do for salvation. Great Millstone, are the ones teaching 100% truth. They haven't swayed from the correct doctrine. And part of the correct doctrine is that these heathen are not going to be saved. There's no salvation for the heathen, okay? Because they're not part of the covenant. They're not part of the covenant that was given to Abraham, okay? The heathen are going to be used to build up our kingdom, which means they're going into servitude. They're going into hardcore bondage, okay? Especially the nation of Edom, they're going to get it the worst, which is so-called white man today. Uh, so, it is what it is, and we're going to prove it with scripture, regardless of your feelings and all that. This is the true gospel. This is the good news, okay? The good news is that we're getting justice for what they did to us. They had us in slavery, and they had us build America, which is the sinful kingdom, but ours is going to be a righteous and everlasting kingdom. Theirs is a temporary sinful kingdom. America is known as spiritual Sodom and Egypt. Okay, so basically it's just as bad as Sodom and Gomorrah. We all know what happened, what the fate was of Sodom and Gomorrah. The Lord destroyed it with fire, and that's what's going to happen to America, okay, which is going to put an end to their kingdom. And then immediately after, we're going to use the heathen for a righteous purpose. Esau had us in slavery during the transatlantic slave trade. He had us in slavery to build up his wicked kingdom, basically it was all based on greed, the fact that they were lazy, the fact that they were greedy, the fact that they were hateful. Ours isn't like that. Ours, we're just getting our payback, and we're also having them clean up the mess they made to make this world a beautiful paradise. Okay, so that ours is going to be for a righteous cause, because we are the children of the Lord. We're the righteous seed of the righteous and the seed of the blessed. So I want to let me share my screen real quick. I should sec, just right. So what I want to do is I want to start with a video, and then we're going to read some scriptures. Okay. So Lord willing, everything's coming out loud and clear. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with this. And these two videos that I'm going to play, one is from Aishayar, uh, Aishayar. Well, you'll see. I forget how to pronounce it, but you'll see the name of his channel before in the start of this video. And basically, I've left the link in the description to both of these because they're YouTube links. So I've left the description to both of these videos that I'm going to play. One I'm going to play now, the other I'm going to play at the outro of this lesson, Lord willing. All right. So check this out. Lord willing, it comes out loud and clear. So that's the name of the brother's channel right there. Aishayar Yahawashai for the election 3. Okay. Let's turn that up to 100%.
Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy God, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make the place of my feet glorious.
That's beautiful.
The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despised thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings. And thou shalt know that I, the Lord, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise. The sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee. But the Lord shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy God thy glory.
Hey, call Allah Yahweh Shim Yahushai.
Khan.
That was beautiful. Shalom, Atazawam, hopeful elect.
Hey, shalom.
Shalom, bro. Shalom, Yahweh Shim Yahushai Barak. Hey, that's beautiful, that video, you know. Just seeing it and knowing that, you know, the Lord said that no man's eye have seen nor entered into the mind the things, you know, roughly paraphrasing, of course, but the things that the Lord have in store for them that love him, you know. And how do you love the Lord? You keep his commandments. The Lord says, the scriptures say, if ye love me, keep my commandments, and my commandments are not grievous, roughly paraphrasing, right? So we acknowledge the law, unlike these Christians. They're throughout it. They don't know what's going on, but you know, they say the law is done away with. But us men, you know, us righteous men of the Lord, hey, you know, we got a lot to look forward to if we endure to the end, because all you saw in that video is what we're gonna have them build up, and it's gonna be way beyond what you saw in that video. That's the beauty of it, man. It's like this labor that we're doing is not for nothing. It is not in vain, you know, because we're gonna get these heathen, you know, and we're gonna have them clean up the mess they made. Because when you see what they're getting ready to do to the earth, right, through the nuclear weapons that they've created, you're gonna understand. It's finally gonna kick in. It's gonna a light bulb's gonna come on. Oh, now I see why these people gotta go into slavery, because they're just destroying the whole earth, man, because they live very ungodly. But the Lord is raising up the true righteous rulers of the earth as we speak, you know. So yeah, let me bring out some scriptures, right? Let's start with the book of Isaiah, chapter 60. Here we go. We're going to start here at verse 10. It says, "And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee." See? So the Lord is basically going to have mercy on his people, Jacob, right? The Israelites, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans predominantly. And I say predominantly because you do have some that scattered abroad that look like these other nations, you know, because we've been mixing our seed among the heathen women. And therefore, you know, you do have Israelites that look like other nations. Therefore, it's not a color thing. But I will say that the majority of the Israelites will look like so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's why we say that. So therefore, you know, I'm just expounding on that so there's no confusion. But the sons of strangers are going to build up our walls. These heathen are going to build up our walls. We ain't going to have to lift a finger, okay? It don't matter if you was a 2/3 Israelite or anything, man. Okay, you're not going to be slaves in the kingdom. The only ones that are going to be slaves are the heathen nations, because every heathen nation had us in slavery at some point in history, man. So they have to receive double for that. It says, "For in my wrath I smote thee." This is why we're through out here. We're in the ghettos. We're at the lowest of society, with a butt of everyone's joke. Blackface, the people doing blackface shows in Poland. I caught wind of that recently, man. They got this whole TV show or whatever dedicated to doing blackface, man. They make a mockery of us, man. Okay.
It's like what they do in the Netherlands. They have that Black Pete or whatever they call it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Holiday with all them people do all the blackface and that.
That's during Christmas time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good, man, because we're gonna have the last laugh. Okay, we're the laugh of the world right now, because the Lord, in his wrath, he smote us. Okay, that's what's happened. He put us under subjection of these heathen. But the Lord getting ready to reverse roles, man. Okay, because the first is going to be last, and the last is going to be first. But in my favor have I had mercy on thee. It says there in verse 11, Isaiah 60 and 11, "Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought." And when it says day or night, that proves that the sun and the moon are still going to be there, because you got certain scriptures in the Bible that state that the sun will no more give its light, because the Lord's glory will light up the world, or something like that. Roughly paraphrasing, but this is how people perceive it, is that the sun and the moon ain't going to be there. No, the kingdom of heaven is going to be here on earth. The earth is going to be replenished and made new. But we're going to use the heathen to do that. And you're still going to have the sun and the moon, because it says that the gates, it says, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. So, you know, they're going to have to continually pay tithes and offerings, basically, and give their goodies. You know, heathen may invent little gadgets here and there or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I can't imagine how the kingdom going to be. All I know is that they're going to be bringing us their riches, okay?
Best fabrics, best spices, all of that.
All of that, man, you know? Anything that their people invent. Because the thing is, they may invent things here and there because they're gonna be thriving, you know, after they're let free, obviously, because they got to serve 1,000 years of captivity. But all the heathen nation after 1,000 years, which is double, they're gonna be let free. Okay. But the Edomites, the so-called white man, he's out of it. He's going in extinction. We're gonna expound on that further as we go, but that ain't what this lesson's about. We've done many lessons on that. But they're gonna bring their goods. Okay. It says in verse 12, for the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted. So the only nation that is prophesied to go into extinction is the nation of Edom. Do you really think that the Edomites are gonna ever willingly bow down and submit to us? Because the Lord made that man crooked. He ain't never gonna willingly serve us. Okay, they're always gonna be trying to plot and scheme to try and overthrow us or something. Especially when they see how we live, they want everything they see. The Lord says that their eyes stand out with fatness, man, in the book of Psalms, chapter 73. So these people are not gonna sit back and just allow us to rule the world, and especially when they see what we create of the world, because Jake does everything better. We're the salt of the earth, the Bible says, man. So everything we touch turns to gold, basically, right? So imagine when we're ruling the earth in righteousness, and we're not allowing rap music and niggerdom and whoredom and all that in our communities, man. Imagine how jealous they're gonna be, how envious they're gonna be, especially Esau. Because what other nation goes around conquering and stealing people's stuff like Esau? Esau is the bully. You really think the bully is gonna humble down? He's
Esau.
that nation.
Huh? Go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, Esau the bully, he's that nation that ain't never gonna serve us willingly, man. So he's gonna be utterly out of here. And it's prophesied in the book of Obadiah that he's out of here, man. Okay.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is, like, I mean, look at what he's doing in Venezuela. He's literally trying to rob their oil.
Exactly.
That's why he's trying to start that war between Venezuela.
And he's doing it, Salakia. He's doing it also in other places, like in Africa. He's doing it. He's trying to do it in Nigeria, he's Congo, because he's in a state of desperation, because he knows that he's losing his rulership. He's not finding it so easy these days to get the bread that he needs.
Isn't he trying to take over Is it Greenland or Iceland?
Yeah, I think it's Green. I can't remember. It's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because he wants that territory and all the minerals.
Yeah, I think he wanted Canada too, or he wanted them to join forces with him or something like that. I can't quite remember, but he's stretching himself thin because he's in a state of desperation, man. He's coming down having great wrath because he knows that he has a short time, Revelations 12:12. So he's making hella moves, man. But he's going to stretch himself thin like the ancient Roman Empire, and he's going to destroy himself, man. He's out of here. Because this is the Lord has set the bounds that you can't pass, right? Here we go. Let's read a bit more. It says in verse 12, it's 13, so like it says, Isaiah 60 and 13, the glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. So the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, he's going to make the place of his feet glorious. What's the place of his feet? It's the earth, because the earth is his footstool, right? Heaven is his throne, the earth is his footstool. So the place of his feet is here on earth. He's going to make it glorious. It's meaning that we're going to be the kingdom of heaven, contrary to Christians' doctrine, where they think that heaven is some place in the sky, fluffy clouds and all that, naked angels, wings coming out their back, flying around. They got some weird imagination about what the kingdom of heaven is, but it's actually here on earth. This is where we reside. This is where we're going to be, man. Okay. It's just all about new rulership. This is what you got to understand. It says in verse 14, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and all they that despised thee. Now, who could this be talking about? Who are the ones that are afflicted in this world? Who are the ones that are despised? All they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. So, they're going to know during that time, because right now, people are and ahhing and trying to do all this research, trying to debunk the fact that we are truly the Lord's people, even though it's proven these gutter rats are just genocidal maniacs and people are all coming against them, the small hats, right? They're all agreeing that they ain't the chosen, but yet they still can't accept that them niggers, dirty net, you know what I mean? That's how they call us, but they don't want us, anybody but us. They don't want us being the chosen, but they're gonna know. It says that, because it says here, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee. You're gonna bow down, you're gonna kiss the ring, okay? All you heathen, man. It says, and all they that despised thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet. Okay, it says, and they shall call thee the city of Yahweh, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. So it's going to be well known who we truly are, that we're not just niggers, spicks, wetbacks, Native Americans. We're more than that. Okay, we're the Lord's chosen, we're the true chosen. Okay, it says, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and thou shalt suck the breasts of kings, and thou shalt know that I, Yahweh, am thy Savior and thy Redeemer, possessive, thy, ours. Okay, read Joel 2:27. He's our Lord and none else, man. It says the mighty one of Jacob. Does he say the mighty one of the heathen? Whosoever, like they say in John 3:16, whosoever. So it's quite clear, it's quite plain, it's quite straightforward, man, that the Lord is ours and he's going to exalt, his people in the end, okay? Especially starting with the elect. Verse 17, this is Isaiah 60:17, and this is going into the kingdom now. It says, for brass I will bring gold. So as abundant as brass is in this world, you're getting ready to see the world upgraded on a level unimaginable. Okay, you're going to see gold, because you got to understand, we're going to have streets paved with gold, man. If you want to build your house and have, it ain't going to be gold plated like the Oval Office. Stuff that's bought from Sam's Club or whatever, Target, and painted with gold. That's Trump, man. Nero. Okay, Nero loves his gold, right? But we're gonna have real gold, man. Finest gold, man. The gold that we're gonna pave our streets with, you gotta understand, it's gonna be purified way beyond what they can do now. We're gonna have higher technology, and we're gonna purify the gold that it's gonna be like transparent. It's gonna be like it's transparent, man. See-through, basically, right? Because you gotta think, like, if you've paved the streets in gold and the sun is going over you, man, it'll be blinding the hell out of us. There's gonna be a way we're gonna purify it, and it's not gonna be so blinding in your face. You know what I mean? You're walking and squinting all day because, but yeah, we'll have power that we ain't gonna squint like we do now anyway, man. Because if we'll be able to go up to the sun and all that. So you got to think, man, our bodies ain't gonna be the same. So who knows? But this is just me speaking as a man, you know what I mean? Because it don't say that in the scriptures. It just does mention that it's going to be transparent gold as far as the streets are concerned. But let me read this from the top again. Isaiah 60:17. It says, for brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. In other words, in a nutshell, everything going to be upgraded. We're going to be able to build our palaces with precious stones and stuff. It's going to be way more in abundance than what we got here, right? It says, and I will also make thy officers peace and thine exactors righteousness. It says, violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders, proving that them gutter rats in our land right now are not the real JEWs. They're not the real chosen. They're imposters, fakers, 1948ers, war humpers, small hats, tiny hats, freaks and weirdos, right? Tunnel crawlers, whatever you want to call them, man. Goblins. It says, violence shall no more be heard in thy land. And right now is nothing but violence in around that in that land, Palestine and in Israel. It says, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. It says, but thou shalt call thy walls salvation and thy gates praise. And this is the part I was speaking about earlier in verse 19. It says, the sun shall no more shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give her light unto thee, but Yahweh shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy power, thy glory. So, obviously I ain't talking about there being no more sun and moon. It's just going into wisdom, moon meaning a wisdom. I ain't gonna touch on that because I'm not too. I need to actually sharpen up on that actual precept. But it goes deeper than what it says on face value. It says, "Thy son." It says, verse 20. It says, "Thy sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself, for Yahweh shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended." It says, "Thy people also shall be all righteous," because the laws are going to, under the new covenant, the law that the Lord makes with us, he's going to write his laws in our inward parts. So you're not going to see niggers, you're not going to see ratchet, baby mama, ghetto, hood rats anymore. None of that, man. We ain't going to have them bywords, man, because we're going to be all righteous, okay? We're going to be keeping the laws. We ain't going to be teaching each other to keep the law. It's just going to be automatically wired within our new bodies, man. We will never go off, because when we go off is when we get taken down. But we're going to be immortal, okay? Because we're going to be righteous. Righteousness is immortal, okay? It says, "Thy people also shall be all righteous," which means we're going to be immortal. It says, "And they shall inherit the land for the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified." So, we're gonna. The Lord is going to be glorified in how we are as a people, because right now, we bring shame upon the Lord. Like, I bet the Lord's embarrassed to say we're his chosen, man, because of the way we behave right now, how through and destroyed we are. But we're going to be so righteous that we're going to be glorifying the Lord in our righteousness, man, with what we do in the earth, how we govern the earth, how we respect each other, how we're living and taking care of the earth. The Lord gonna be glorified in us, man. Okay, it says, "And a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, Yahweh, will hasten it in his time." So we're going to be multiplying, man. We're going to have plenty of children, and we're going to have many wives to bear those children, okay? It's not going to be one child per 9 months. And then you have to wait till wants to live a bit, before you get her pregnant again. None of that, man, okay? And pregnancy is going to be pleasurable. It ain't gonna be like it is here. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and 27. It says,
read some of the comments. The brother Tazawam has been firing up the comment board.
Oh, okay. Yeah, kind of slack you. Let me slack you for that. I'm getting carried away. So I got quite a few precepts to go through. But we'll read some, if not all of these. This is Lamentations, Tazawam, Hopeful Elect 144. This is Lamentations 2 and 15. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem. right? Which is the Israelites. This is what the other nations, how the other nations are toward us as we speak now, man, as we are now, right? They hiss. It says, all that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head, you know? They look at us in disgust, man. And I get it. I understand why, you know, because when you look at how destroyed our people are, we're an embarrassment, man. But the good news is that it's not our true nature. It's just that we're under curses and we're destroyed, and those curses are not going to be upon us forever. You're not always going to see the disgust inside of us that you see now in the world. But so all they pass by, clap their hands at thee, they hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? Because this is what we were supposed to be. This is what we were once known as, is the city that the men call the perfection of beauty. Okay, we were the beauty standard in the world, man. Okay, and we were the joy of the whole earth.
Yeah, I have to take into consideration as well that they had a hand in destroying us and making us that way.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
So now you have Israelite groups out there that are talking about they can get salvation too.
Yeah,
that's
you know,
ridiculous.
that's because their pockets are running dry and they got to come up with something to get more revenue, man. Because they've turned this truth into a business and their destruction is coming, man. Okay, because you can't play with the Lord's word like that. It's some serious stuff we're involved in, man. And these people never knew they never understood the severity of what we were involved in from the beginning, man. Deacon
Yeah.
Akari and all them, man. They don't know what's going on. They treat this thing like they've niggified the truth, man. With rap videos, fitted caps, the guns, Glocks with the titties on it. You remember Deacon talking about I got the titties on it. They don't know what's going on. They ain't, you know.
And that's why the Lord dismantled them, man.
Yeah, he's just and the more is to come, man, because the Lord is they're through. There ain't no bouncing back for them. You know what I mean? Unless the Lord does a miracle for them, which I highly doubt that's gonna happen. They've got a role to play, man, and they're playing it nicely. Okay, because they're only set up to sift out the undesirables. You know. So this is Isaiah 1, hopeful elect 144. It says Luke 19 and 27, but those mine enemies which would not that I should reign over them, bring them hither and slay them before me. So that's what the Lord is saying. You know, anyone that don't want the Lord Yahushua to rule over them, you still want to hold on to Krishna, Buddha, Allah, white Jesus, you know. You don't want the true God of Israel, because even the fact that he's a so-called black man is troublesome to them. They say, oh, he was Middle Eastern, he was olive tone, anything but so-called black man, right? But if you don't want the truth, you know, you ain't worshiping the Lord in spirit and in truth, as the scriptures state. If you don't want that Lord to rule over you, hey, bring them hither and slay them before me, man. You're out of here. Okay, you're gonna be basically you're gonna be tormented before the Lord and his angels, man, during judgment day, during that day of doom. That's the spirit. I literally did a lesson on this, about to post. Khan. Oh, I'll check that out, bro. I'll keep that in mind. Probably make a note of it, because otherwise I might forget. My memory is terrible. I'm sure I'll get around to it. I'll check that out when right, Habakkuk 2 and 4, right? It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Esau ain't an upright person, man. Okay? And this is who is talking about, so-called white man. He's not up by nature, he's not upright. He wasn't created to be upright. You know? The Lord's people, that's Jeshurun, you know, which means upright one. They ain't Jeshurun. Habakkuk 2 and 5, it says, yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine his philosophies and ideologies, it says he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. He's in everyone else's land, stealing what don't belong to him. It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell, meaning the grave can never be full, just like his desire. He's never satisfied, basically. It says, and is as death, meaning everywhere this man goes, he spreads death. There's only one people this is talking about, the Edomite. It says, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. So he thinks the
Mhm.
whole world and everything in it belongs to him. He don't want you living sovereign, being sovereign and stuff. He thinks that, you know, you people that he says from a third world, he thinks you're inferior and that you need to be ruled over like animals at all time, you know, and he's never satisfied, man. So, you know, there's great judgment for these people because they don't know how to live in harmony with other races and nations of people, man. So what I want to do is I want to start in the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and 27. It says, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven, meaning here on earth, shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, right? And who are the saints? The saints are the Israelites, okay? We've done lessons on this. You know, I would go into that right now and prove it to you. Easy done. Many scriptures to prove that. But you know, this lesson it might be quite lengthy, and I've got quite a few precepts to unpack. So if anybody needs more proof on that, come in my comment board, and I'll direct you to where you need to go to get the understanding. But the saints are the Israelites, okay? That's not the heathen. That's another thing that proves that the kingdom is for the Israelites only, okay? It says, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. You can't get around it, man. Okay, so all these kingdoms and nations are going to serve and obey the Israelites, okay? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, starting at 1. It says, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, you Israelites. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. So it's talking about the Israelites. The Lord's going to have mercy on us because, you know, he turned his back on us, right? Because of what we did in the past. You know, we sinned against him, broke that covenant that he made with us, that blood covenant in the wilderness. We broke it. And that's why we're in the ghettos and slums. That's why we're in poverty. That's why we're continually oppressed and we get no rest. Okay. But the Lord said he's going to have mercy on us. And we yet choose Israel. We're always going to be as chosen. It says, and set them in their own land, which is the land of Israel. And it ain't talking about that little slither of land that they call Israel. No, it's the whole region, man. That's Israel. Okay. And we're gonna beautify that place, man. It says, and the strangers shall be joined with them, which this strangers here is talking about the Israelites that are in a Gentile state of mind, right? It says, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. It says, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. So when you possess something, it means you own it. It belongs to you. It's your property. So we're going to possess people. Okay. That's why it says they shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, meaning slave man and slave woman. And they shall take them captives. Okay, because this ain't talking about when it says servants and handmaids. Don't think these heathen are going to get paid. They're going to get paid in food. Okay, that's just enough to keep them alive and do their job. That's their payment, man. They get to breathe. But they're going to be used as batteries to operate, operate our system, kind of like the Matrix. You know what I mean? Where people we use as batteries for the land of the sentients or whatever. They're going to be used as batteries to basically work our fields and stuff, man. They're going to be used as energy to build our kingdom, okay? And that's all they're going to be looked at as. We ain't going to look at them as nothing special, okay? But I'm pretty sure, this ain't scriptural. Me speaking as a man, I'm pretty sure, you're going to have some servants that you show favor to because obviously, they're more obedient. Maybe they're good workers or whatever, so you might give them better jobs because ain't every job going to be the same in the kingdom, man. But don't think they're going to get paid. It's not like it is today, okay? They get off work, clock out, collect their paycheck. Nah, man, it ain't gonna be like that. It says, for servants and handmaids, this is Isaiah 14:2, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. So we were in captivity under every nation of people in the world, man. So they're getting ready. All these heathen are going into captivity because we're going to take them captives, whose captives we were. Okay. It says, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So the ones that are being oppressed in this world is us, man. A lot of people say, you ain't oppressed. You had a black president. Give me a break, man. You people, that's another reason we're going to give you extra lashes with the whip. Because you people just piss us off, man. Got a whole lot of mouth. You don't realize the latter end of it is you're going to have to pay for that. Okay? You heathen, man. You know, and if you've seen what we've seen, us men of the Lord, if you people out there that don't understand all this, if you've seen half the stuff we've seen, then you'd understand. These people are wicked, man, and they've treated us horribly in this world, man. So there's this, you know, balance is coming. Right, we're gonna leave that there because that's the point. You know, the point is, I just wanted to get straight to the point on that. That let's just read this bit. When the Edomites are taken down out of power, it says the whole earth is at rest and is quiet, and they break forth into singing. So when this devil's gone, you know, these heathen are going into slavery, but the world is going to be better. It's going to be a better world, man. Okay. But at the end of the day, all these heathen are going into captivity, man. Let's move on. This is Jeremiah 49:20. It says, therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he have purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. It says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. The least of the flock is the small hats. This is talking about how they're going to lead the world into World War III. Okay. They're going to draw them out into that World War III, the third woe. And it says, this is the point right here. It's the reason I wanted to bring this out. It says, surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So the land of Israel is getting ready to be clean, dissolved, wiped off the map. It's going to be nuked, okay? And it has to be purged with fire, okay? Because it's been defiled. These Edomites are in that land defiling it right now, and the heathen. And it has to be purged with fire in order for it to be built back up from the ground up and be suitable for us to dwell in, okay? And where was I start? This is, let's start here. Jeremiah 30:10, it says, therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. So the scriptures say in the book of Baruch that we are yet this day in our captivity, basically wherever we're scattered to. If you're living in England, France, Germany, Russia, China, don't matter where the Israelites are living, because they're scattered among the whole earth, the Lord is going to save us, okay, wherever we've been scattered to. But it's talking about the seed of Israel, okay? The Gentiles, the natural Gentiles, they have no part of that, man. This is a nation thing. This is a blood, a seed line thing, okay? through the lineage of the father. The father carries the seed in his nutsack. So that seed is an Israelite. You don't matter what nation you put that seed in or how it comes out looking, it's gonna be an Israelite. So the Israelites, no matter what they appear to look like, you can look like a Caucasian and still get salvation, but only if you're an Israelite. It's plain as day, man. It says, and Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. Okay, so we're gonna finally have that justice and that peace that we've been looking for. You know, our people marching in the streets, no justice, no peace, right? We're gonna get that justice and peace, but it's gonna come for those that are patient. You know, we have to wait on the Lord to rise up to the prey, man. It says, "For I am with thee." This is Jeremiah 13:11. "For I am with thee, saith Yahweh, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee." Okay, because you know we've been destroyed, but these other nations are getting ready to be destroyed, just like the Lord destroyed us. Okay, it says, "But I will correct thee in measure, and I will not leave thee altogether unpunished. For thus saith Yahweh, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous." You know, we're through out here. Ain't no fixing us. You ain't gonna have somebody like Barack Obama come into office, right? Who was a Hamite, by the way, but our people that are none the wiser, right? And ain't no man like him gonna come into office and fix all the condition, the generational trauma that we've endured. Jeremiah 30:13, "There is none to plead thy cause," meaning no one's fighting on our behalf. It says that thou mayest be bound up, that thou hast no healing medicines. It says, "All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, and with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased." So that we went into slavery and all that because of what we did in the past. Let's just skip forward to the point, right? Jeremiah 30:16, it says, "Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them," keep in mind, "shall go into captivity," slavery, hardcore bondage, man. It says, "Shall be a spoil, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey." So there's no getting around it, okay? The Bible says what it says, and it's set in stone. The words of the Bible and all the apps on the internet that have the Bible app and all, it's not gonna all of a sudden change one day. And then some message in the sky says, "Oh, I changed it, by the way. I rewrote everything. You know, I made a mistake, or now the heathen can be saved." Or, ain't none of that, man. It's all written, it's all set in stone, and it's gonna happen. The Lord ain't gonna go back on his word. So all that our adversaries are going into captivity, man. Okay, and they're gonna build up our kingdom because we built theirs, you know, which turned out to be a wicked kingdom that they ruled the earth from, America. But they got the short end of the straw because they're gonna build up our world, and it's gonna be an everlasting world, righteous kingdom, and it's gonna be beyond anything you can imagine, man. This is Jeremiah 30:17. "For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith Yahweh, because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after." So this is what the heathen, you know, like the brother posted on the comment board earlier. He posted that scripture says that they clap at thee, they hiss, they wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, right? No one likes us, okay? And it's totally understandable because we're under heavy curses, and this is all of the Lord's doing. But we just got to be patient because them days are almost over, man. The days of us being a laughing stock of the world. But this is a precept backing up the fact that these heathen can't stand our guts, man. they call us an outcast. Okay, who wants to? Everybody wants to be a nigga, but don't want nobody want to be a nigga. Okay, in other words, right? With that famous quote from what's his name? Do you remember? It's from Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, his name is Paul Mooney.
Paul Mooney, that's it. Everybody want to be a nigga, don't know about, but don't nobody want to be a nigga. Yeah, man, because they like what we bring to the earth, but they don't like the people that bring the stuff to the earth, man. Okay, don't nobody want to be us. They think we have no rights. You know, we get beaten all the time by the police. We get shot and killed. Nobody likes us. That's what they know this about us. So nobody wants to be us, but yeah, at the same time, they do want to be us. All in a tanning beds, putting on fake tan, injecting their lips to get them nice and plump like a black woman, so-called black woman, going to the gym and focusing solely on squats so they can get an ass like a black girl, so-called black girl or a Latina, you know?
You say about the tanning bed as well.
Yeah, they
Like
be,
darken their skin.
yeah, man. But they call us an outcast, you know? The outcast of the world, like, you know, nobody wants to be like, nobody wants to be them. Nobody likes them, right? Saying, this is Zion, the Israelites, who no man seeketh after. Don't nobody want to help them. Who's really fighting on our behalf? You got a few heathens on TikTok calling out the atrocities of their own people and making their tongue fall upon themselves, but ain't no real action being done to, you know, help our condition, man. And they're happy with that. So let's read this. Jeremiah 30 and 18. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents and have mercy on his dwelling places. So to bring again the captivity means to redeem us from captivity, man. Okay. It says, and the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. Okay. So when Israel's destroyed, for an example, our kingdom's gonna be built on the ashes of upon the ashes of that place, man. Here we go. Let's read this. This is Jeremiah 30 and 19. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving and the voice of them that make merry, and I'll multiply them. See, we're gonna be getting it in the kingdom, man. Many wives and many babies. Okay, and babies only come one way. For those that think we ain't gonna be getting it in the kingdom, you crazy, man. Plenty of that. And it says, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. See? Hey, man, can't get around it. I think that's it on that. Let's move on. A few more scriptures. I got another clip or two I want to bring out. In fact, let's give it a halftime. Let's go ahead and play a clip because you got this image here. Right? And this is a famous image from 400 years ago. And let me right here is an AI overview of this image. It says the image displays a detailed fresco depicting the Last Judgment. That's what it's called, the Last Judgment. The Last Judgment scene, which is famously painted on the exterior wall of the Vărone Masonry in Romania. It says this monastery, that's it. Vărone Monastery in Romania. It says this monastery is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a prime example of the painted churches of Moldavia It says the monastery was built in 1488 by Stephen the Great. It says the frescoes are renowned for a unique, intense shade of blue known as Voronet blue. Okay, and we're going to get into what that's talking about in a minute, because there's another image that this is particularly talking about within that image that I just showed you. It says the Last Judgment fresco on the western facade is particularly famous, leading the monastery to be nicknamed the Sistine Chapel of the East. The painting includes political and local cultural elements such as depictions of Jays and Turks among the sinners, reflecting the historical context of time. Now, I want to go back to that image. We'll zoom in a little bit, because the blue that it's talking about is this blue right here, and that's what, you know, what the title of the painting is based on. But this image right here, we're going to focus in on that in this video in just a second, because this part right here shows Edomites. It shows so-called black angels or brown-skinned angels putting Edomites into captivity. Okay, you see the Edomites are here chained up, bound up, tortured. Christians will depict that as, you know, probably a hell or something. But yeah, they're right. It is going to be their hell. Okay, because Esau, this is your fate. No sunscreen, out there in the sun in chains, man. But let's check this video out real quick, and then we're gonna speak on it.
Next page I'm finna show you. Y'all check this out now. Now the next page I'm finna show you, this is Revelation 13:10 in action. He that led into captivity shall go into captivity.
Call hello, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai.
But the vast majority are going to come against the idea of a black kingdom. And we see what their fate is going to be. These are black angels, y'all. Check this out. And we know what race that is. Oh, no, it gets better. Oh, no, watch this. Look at that. The Ancient of Days with the woolly hair like the pure wool. And look at this. The angels sending white folks into captivity.
Now, that image there is a zoomed in part of the image that I just showed you, okay? And you see how sad they look? That's Edomites, that's Esau right there, man. And you see they got yokes of iron or some kind of chain around their neck because they're bound up, representing that they're in captivity, and they don't look very happy, okay? And that's what's coming, and they know it, man. The elites know it.
I didn't write this book. This book goes back to the 11th, 12th, 13th centuries. And this is the creme de la creme. All praises be to the Most High.
Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai.
Everything we've been through, y'all, the Most High is going to retribute it on all the nations that have had a hand in the oppression of his apple, the apple of his eye, his chosen people, his beloved, his fervent lover, his only begotten. They're going to have their part in the lake of fire.
That is the lake of fire, by the way, okay? The lake of fire is not some lake in hell where people are chained up together, bleeding and burning over and over again forever. That's not the lake of fire, man. That makes no sense, because death and hell were cast into the lake of fire, the Bible says. So how do you cast the lake of fire into hell if the lake of fire is apparently in hell? Don't make no sense, man. Okay? The lake of fire is when you're looking out of the chariots that the elect get delivered from, which is the so-called UFOs. When you're looking down at America being destroyed by nuclear fire from coast to coast, it's going to appear as a lake of fire. That's all it's talking about. America is the lake of fire. Okay? The Lord also says that, you know, our people have become dross of silver. And because we've become brass and tin and all this, he said he's going to leave, you know, 2/3 of our people in there, America, and melt them, because America will be turned into the lake of fire. That's why it says that, you know, roughly paraphrasing, obviously. Anyway.
Judgment in chains, he that led into captivity shall go into captivity. All praise to the Most.
So, you know, obviously I tweaked that video slightly. That, you know, that version of the video was on TikTok, but I had to, you know, do my editing and fix it up a bit, because he was, I think he was saying Yah or something like that. So I had to make sure that it was, people understand it's not Yah, it's Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, right? And then I had to add a few images in there, cut a few bits out, whatever. And yeah, so let's go to the scripture real quick that he was referring to in the book of Revelations, chapter 13, starting at 9. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear, meaning everybody has ears, obviously. They ain't talking about everybody. This ain't for everybody to hear and understand. It says, if any man have an ear, meaning if you have the ability to hear this and to really understand this, then let him hear. This is for you to understand, because it's only for the wise of our people to understand these mysteries, man. If any man have an ear, let him hear. It says in verse 10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And who led the Israelites into captivity? All the heathen nations, especially Esau, Edom. They led us into captivity at some point in history. They've all had us in captivity. So they're going to go into captivity. It says, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So the ones that possess nukes, the ones that have gone around conquering and pillaging, stealing other people's land by the way of the sword. Esau's blessing was the sword. So because he's used his blessing to take peace from the earth, he's got to be killed by the sword, okay? Which a lot of them are going to be killed by the ultimate sword, which is them ICBM nuclear missiles, okay? There's no reason why them missiles should even exist. But these people, the Lord had them so wicked that they, you know, he put spirit on them to create it, you know, because these people are wicked as all hell. We ain't gonna have nukes in our kingdom. It says, here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So this is what the saints are patiently waiting for. And I already explained to you that saints are the Israelites. So this is righteousness. This may sound like hate, wicked. This sounds evil. Slavery is evil. No, it isn't.
The truth.
It's the truth, yeah. You know, because he that led us into captivity is going into captivity. You kill us with the sword, you're going to be killed with the sword. And this is what the saints are patiently waiting for. And this is our faith. Okay, hence the reason why we're doing this lesson, because we have utmost faith that this is going to come to pass. And we're not ashamed to do a lesson like this. So you can call us crazy or whatever, but this is thus saith the Lord. This is what's going to occur. Okay.
Yeah, and Salakia, I'm not really speaking that much. I'm not 100%. Like, I've come down with a virus, and yeah, I just feel like absolute garbage. So my brother's doing the bulk of this lesson today.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, we did agree on that. Comment boards are lit up. Let me wow. Where was I? Where was the last one? I think it was Habakkuk. Yeah, okay, so brother Atazawam, hopeful elect, put Revelations 13 and 9, which, you know, we just brought out, so I ain't gonna read that. 13 and 9 through 10. Right? But let's read this one. And Shalom to brother Benjamin, Benjamin hopeful elect.
Hey, Shalom. How about Shemiah Shai Barakatah?
Yeah, they that's true. You know, they're going under the nighttime bodies like us because they want to be a nigga, but they don't, you know, everyone want to be a nigga, but don't want to be a nigga, man. Right, so let's read this. I tell Zawam hopeful elect, 144, Obadiah 1 and 15. It says, for the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. And what's a heathen? A heathen is anyone that's not an Israelite. Proving that, I mean, this is what the whole Bible reiterates throughout the whole Bible, man, is that there's a difference between the chosen, which is a seed line. It's not anyone that believes and makes you the chosen. You have to be from that lineage, man. You have to be from that seed. So the day of the Lord is near upon all them that ain't an Israelite, okay? They're going into captivity. It says, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Because they led us into captivity. As they've done, it's going to be done unto them, man. You can't get around it. Beautiful precept. The water for that. Right? Let's jump to Obadiah 1 and 17. It says, but upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance. See? Salvation's for Israelites. It says, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. So, you know, everything they have, it's gonna belong to us, man, because the world was created for the Israelites anyway. So it's just getting restored to us. You know, plenty of scriptures that say that the world was created for the Israelites. The one that comes off the top of the head is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 54 on down, man. Okay, and there's a bunch of precepts that back that up. I believe there's another one in 2nd Ezra's chapter 7 and 10, I believe. I know it's in 7, but it could be verse 10, if I'm not mistaken. It says, Obadiah, Atazawam, hopeful let 144, Obadiah 1 and 21. It says, and saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be Yahweh's. See? Can't get around it, man. Esau's throughout here. This is Atazawam, hopeful let 144, Isaiah 40 and 29. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Verse 30 says, even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. Verse 31, it says, but they that wait upon Yahweh shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So we're literally gonna fly, man. We're gonna run, not get tired. Anything you tell your mind to do, it's just gonna do it, man. We're limited with these earthly bodies as flesh. So if you can receive it, it just, you know, it really gives you a vivid understanding of how much more we're gonna enjoy the earth. It ain't gonna be like, you know, the earth is gonna be this paradise, but we're gonna be just like we are now in these bodies. No, we're gonna need spiritual bodies to really be able to handle the joy that comes with the kingdom of heaven, man. Because there's gonna be pleasure beyond belief, okay? And Esau ain't got no part of that, because we in these fleshly bodies can't go in these chariots and fly at the speed of light or whatever they go, right? Our bodies can't handle that. But in the kingdom of heaven, man, we're gonna run. We're not gonna be weary. You know, we're gonna mount up with wings as eagles. So we're gonna be able to fly. All of that. Imagine, you know, flying past the waterfalls and the cliffs. You know, like you see drone footage nowadays. We got drones, and they, you know, you can get all these different ways of shooting videos and really seeing the landscape better. That's gonna be us. We're gonna be flying around and experiencing the earth and enjoying the earth, man. This, you know, you know, children gonna be playing games, you know, like you used to play Ibalobalin and 1 Foot Down, hide and seek, you know, all of that as a kid. But the kids in the kingdom, man, they're gonna be able to fly and play different games in the air and all that, man. You got American football. You ain't gonna need no pads in the kingdom. You can be flying, playing all kinds of air games, and man, these heathen gonna be jealous, man. Good precepts. Doing 50-yard sprints, 50-degree heat. That's right. Benjamin Hopeful elect. Yeah, man. So the kingdom is gonna be off the chizzy, man. You got anything you want to add?
No, I think it's pretty clear that the heathen ain't gonna be receiving salvation. Some of the things I've heard recently, it just makes you laugh. Like where are the minds of these people? Like where have they gone? Like the Lord's basically giving their minds over to reprobate, to reprobate minds. They're
It's
just coming up with the craziest stuff, like salvation for the heathen, because they need to receive salvation in order to build up the kingdom. No, they're going to be destroyed. The
the
ones that
scriptures.
survive are going straight into slavery.
The scriptures are very clear,
Exactly.
as and if you ain't got the spirit to receive it, because it's a spiritual thing. Like like when we say that we're oppressed, you haven't walked in black man's shoes or that, so-called black. You know how people say, we're oppressed, right? But the heathen, they don't sympathize with us. They don't understand, they don't see, they don't walk in our shoes, so they don't understand it. They say, you're not oppressed. You guys just need to, try harder or whatever. Because
Tie
they
up
ain't
your
got the
bootstraps.
yeah, because they ain't got it's a spiritual thing. And our spirit resonates with that book, the Bible, because the Bible's all about the oppressed and the oppressors oppressing them. And there's coming a day where they're not going to be oppressed anymore, but they're going to oppress their oppressors. But they can't receive it because they in their spirit, they're thinking that we're not oppressed, we're just lazy, we were born with a low IQ, and not that Esau's pseudoscience works magic on them because their minds are simple. So it ain't for every spirit out there to be able to pick up that book and understand it. But we're bringing it out for those that have the spirit to receive it. If any man have an ear, let him hear, right? We're bringing it out for our people, man, because they're the meek. They're the ones that are downtrodden, oppressed, lowly, and they're getting ready to. It's the roles are getting ready to be reversed. Esau and his heathen are gonna be at the bottom, man, where they've always belonged, because we're the elite nation of all races on earth, man. 18 nations of people on the earth. We're the elite nation, man. Even in slavery, we invent things, that the world benefits from. During slavery, during time when we're downtrodden, we're inventing things. Imagine how much more when we're thriving, using 100% of our brain in our new bodies, man. What we're getting ready to do to this earth. And you think we're gonna lift a finger to do it? We could probably cook our fingers and make flowers grow out of the ground and beautify the place. But we want Esau planting that, okay? We're gonna want you to do it the hard way, you know? And we're
You
gonna
think of
we
all
gonna
the
huh?
Slovakia. So you think about all the things that Jake has designed and Esau's stolen. How much better they could have been if
Mm,
Esau didn't get his grubby fingers on them.
yeah.
You know?
And you think about this also, how they try to feed us bugs, these elites. Well,
Yeah.
they not trying, they're trying us bugs. Hey, they gonna eat them bugs in the kingdom, man. Okay, and if they refuse to eat it, we can just click our fingers and make it appear in their stomachs. You ain't going on no hunger strike. They're talking about, oh, I'll kill my. Okay, you won't let me kill myself. I just won't eat. Okay, boom. Now that plate of bugs is just magically appeared in your stomach, mate. You ain't got a choice. You know what I mean? I get thoughts like that sometimes, man. My mind goes deep when I meditate these terrors and I'm thinking about their captivity, man. And they
Like
deserve
problem
every
solved.
they deserve every bit of it. We ain't got no sympathy for them, and we're not gonna have sympathy for them, man. Because we know too much. And think how much more we're gonna know when the Lord gives us them new bodies, man. And we can read your mind and all that. You're here slagging us off in your mind. We hear, hey, I can hear that. You know what I mean? We're gonna know how they feel about us. So you're gonna have some Edomites that may not be as bad as others or whatever. We may cut them a little slack. I'm just speaking as a man, who knows? But as a nation, all these nations are going into captivity, just like we went into captivity. You think all of us Israelites were, sinning against the Lord when our people were rebelling and broke that covenant? You think all of us were like that? No, but we all had to pay as a nation. We all went into slavery, sub-Saharan, which was a major slavery under the Arabs, the Ishmaelites, and then we had the transatlantic slave trade under the Grecians, the Edomites, and
When they had the
Portuguese.
Silk Road.
Yeah,
Hmm.
So double is coming, and it's the payback is coming for these heathen, man. Let's read a bit more. Right. This is Book of Revelation chapter 18 starting at 4. It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So that's when the chariots are above America. They're gonna loud voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. That's talking about coming when the elect get beamed up, so that they don't receive of the plagues, which is the nukes. Okay. It says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. Now this is talking about America, but you can spiritually equate it to Esau too, because the Lord has remembered the sins of Esau, Edom, and all these heathen too. But this is talking about America. The sins of America is a lot, and it's reached up to the Lord, to heaven, and the Lord has remembered her iniquities. So payback is coming, right? America ain't gonna get away with what they've done and what they're continuing to do to this day, shedding the blood of the children of Israel, separating families, oppressing them, mistreating them. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, right? Which is righteousness. They got to receive double, man. It says, in the cup which she have filled, fill to her double. So America is getting ready to receive double, and all these heathen nations, for what they've done to the Israelites and what they've done to the earth, they're going to receive double, man. They're going into slavery. No ifs, ands, or buts, right? This is Jeremiah 16, verse 14. It says, therefore, behold, days come, saith Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from the lands whither he had driven them. So basically, you had the first Exodus. This is going to be the second Exodus, man. The Lord is getting ready to deliver us again from the nations that he scattered us to, just like he saved us before from the land of Egypt, okay? And it says, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers, okay, which is the land of Israel. It says, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahweh, and they shall fish them. So right now, in these end times, this is the time it's talking about. The Lord has sent for fishers of men, okay? And this is what we're doing by these videos. We're just throwing the gospel out there, which is that fishing line. And, the elect will catch on to it. We ain't got to beg nobody. We ain't got to go like Jehovah's Witnesses and knocking door to door. We ain't got to hand out pamphlets. We ain't got to travel around the world on a jet. None of that, man. We just fish, okay? Out on the highways and hedges, these online epistles. We edify the elect. We don't know who the elect are, but the elect will gravitate towards this. It will resonate with their spirit, and they'll see it for what it is, and it will do something inside of them. It will work. The Lord's word will do what it's meant to do, okay? We just throw that line out there. We're fishers of men. It says, behold, I will send for many fishers, saith Yahweh, which is happening in these end times, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain, from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks. So all these elites that are going into them bunkers during World War III, when them nukes start flying, the fishers gonna be turned into hunters. That's when we get our spiritual bodies, our heavenly bodies, our celestial bodies. You know, Lord willing, we're a part of that. But the elect are gonna get them bodies, and then they're gonna go hunting. And we're going to round up the heathen, starting with the elites, and they're all going into captivity, right? So we're going to hunt them from the holes of the rocks. In Jeremiah 16 and 17, for mine eyes are upon their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes. So the Lord sees everything they're doing, everything they're planning. And he's getting ready to sort them right out, put them in slavery, right? They got to receive double. Verse 18 explains that. It says, there's a verse 19. Right? It says, let's read on. It says, and first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double. That's it. That's what I was looking for. See? So they have to receive double, man. We served in the transatlantic slave trade, we served 400 years, really longer, right? Because we're still in captivity, but they have to receive double now, okay? So they're getting 1,000 years. It says, and first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled my inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. So there's heathen in that land right now. All right, that's it on that. Let's move on, because I know I'll wrap this up. We got a few more precepts to bring out, and then one more video to close out. Right, so this Isaiah 24, starting at 21, it says, and it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. See, just like we read in Jeremiah 16 and 16, that we're going to hunt them out of the caves of the earth, the mountains and the holes in the rocks, man. You know, roughly paraphrasing, we're going to hunt them out of the holes of the rocks. When the Lord turns them fishers into hunters, it's hunting season. And this lines up with Isaiah 24 and 21. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, meaning these elites. It says, in the kings of the earth upon the earth. Okay, all these people in them Bilderberg meetings and making all these plans to enslave you with their microchip. Okay, they're getting ready to be punished. The Lord gonna stop them dead in their tracks. It says, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, right? So they're going into slavery, starting with the elites after we hunt them out of them bunkers, okay? It's all here in the scriptures, man. You can't get around it, but it's only for the wise to consider, man. Those that have the ability to learn this, the ears to hear, man. It says, and shall be shut up in prison. It says, and after many days shall they be visited. So it's bonfire time for the Edomites. Okay, they're gonna be visited with fire. Okay, we're gonna wipe them off the earth, man. Extinction time, baby. And that's what the kingdom of heaven's gonna be. It's gonna be a world without Edomites in it, because these people.
Oh, Slakia.
These people don't know how to live in harmony with other races of people. You got something, have you?
Yeah. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 6. And it reads, and Yahweh thy power will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed, the Israelites, to love Yahweh thy power with all thine heart, with all thy soul, and that thou mayest live. The point is in verse 7. It says, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies. So all them that were enemies against the nation of Israel, they're going to get the curses put on them. You can see that they're already dealing with the curses because look at the state of them. Right? They're going down. Right? It says, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. It says, verse 8 says, and thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day. So everybody's going to be, when we're in the kingdom, all these nations, they're going to be following after the commandments because they ain't going to have no choice. The nation of Israel is going to be written in our inward parts, but these other nations, they're going to struggle, but they're going to learn.
Yeah, because the Lord says that we're going to rule them with a rod of iron, man. Meaning we're going to be putting the hammer down on them, man.
That's right.
We're going to knock that pork sandwich straight out of their damn hand.
And they try to sneak it, we're going to know because we're going to have them spiritual powers. Be able to read the mind.
That's it. That's it. You know?
Change that sandwich into like scorpions.
Yeah, good precept. Good precepts. Yeah, let me bring mine back. I'm gonna run through these real quick, finish this up. So we've read Revelations. Let's read the book of Numbers, chapter 24, starting at 18. It says, and Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies. And who's the enemies of Seir? It's the Israelites. Seir, Edom, same people, man. The Edomites are going to be a possession from the Israelites. It says, and Israel shall do valiantly. See? We're going to put the hammer down on them, man. Let's read on a little bit more. Verse 19, out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. It says, and when he looked on Amalek, which is also Edomites, okay, the small hats, those fake JEWs in our land right now, terrorizing the whole earth. When he looked on Amalek, he took up this parable and said, Amalek was the first of many nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. So the Edomites that are here, man, lines up with Obadiah 1 and 18, that Esau is going into extinction. Okay, can't get around it. Let's read on. Isaiah 49 and 22. Thus saith Yahweh, power, the Lord power, behold, I will lift up mine hand to the Gentiles and set up my standard to the people. And they shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders. See? So the natural Gentiles are going to be our slaves, man. They're going to carry our children, okay? Point blank, period. It says, and kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. See, and this is how we wait for the Lord, is we separate from the world, do what is commanded. We do his will, man. Teaching this word, keeping our head in the scriptures, edifying our people. You know, we endure all the slander and the you know, people that, you know, they speak ill of us, calling us hate preachers and rapists and whatever they want to say, right? We're waiting on the Lord, man, to avenge us, okay? We're waiting by doing what is commanded, but you know, the kings are gonna be thy nursing fathers, queens thy nursing mothers. They're going into slavery. They're gonna be we're gonna have many children, but it ain't gonna be like our house was like a damn daycare and we're running around frantic trying to cook, do this, do that. No, man. No. We got slaves to do that. Okay. It says they shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, lick up the dust of thy feet, man. Okay. And thou shalt know that I am Yahweh. Okay, because you got people that are telling them, that are using these scriptures to get the heathen to kiss their boots and all that. That's just off, man. Okay, it was never right. It never felt right to me, you know. I mean, do that one day in the kingdom, yeah, if you want to, whatever. You can do whatever you want with your slaves. But now ain't the time, man. That's pride, okay? The Lord didn't send us here to be doing that. You're just bringing shame upon the ministry, man. It says, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. I think that's it. Yeah. Let's read on. We only got a few more and then we'll close it. Ooh, what have I done? I don't know what happened there. Right, let's start at Amos 9 and 11. It says, in that day, Amos 9 and 11, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. That's us. You know, we're coming back into our lot. This is the tabernacle of David, okay? Ain't no third temple. This is the third temple here. You're seeing it being rebuilt in this day, in these times now. So the Lord says he raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen and will close up the breaches thereof. It says, and I will raise up his ruins and will build it as in the days of old. So this is what's happening now. You're seeing the rise of the Israelites, that third temple, that tabernacle of David, and we're being put in order, set in order before the heathen's eyes. It says that they may possess the remnant of Edom. And it says remnant because a lot of them are going to be taken out by them nukes. Okay? But we're going to round up the elites first from them bunkers that they're going to scurry to like rats in their holes. Okay? Going to drag them out by their nipples, man. It says that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, right? So Ammon, Moab, Ishmael, they're not called by Arabs, Chinese, Japanese, white man. No. When it says that which are called by my name, it means the name that the Lord originally set up for them, man. Their original names. That's what they're going back to. Okay. You ain't gonna hear white man, Chinese man, and all that in the kingdom. No. Moab, Ammon, Ishmael, all of that. Going back to that. Saith Yahweh that doeth this. So, you know, the Lord is the one that's going to make this happen. He says that he's going to put them in slavery under us, just like the Lord did to us. You can't get around it. Do you think this is unjust? Do you think it's unrighteous for the Lord to do that? It ain't. It's perfect balance. The Lord is a God of justice and balance, man. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, the scriptures say. It says, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper. What do you think that means? Means the first is going to be last, the last is going to be first. We're getting ready to rule over them. It says, and the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed, and the mountain shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel, and they shall build the waste cities. We ain't going to build them. They're going to build them. We're going to use them to build them. Okay. But we're, you know, it's going to be designed after how we want it. Not the Freemasons, how they build their cities. It says, and inhabit them. So we're going to build the waste cities. We're going to inhabit them. And it says, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof, meaning that we're going to enjoy the work of our labor, man. Okay, we tell you to do this, we're gonna be able to enjoy that. We want you to build this, we're gonna enjoy that. Okay, and we ain't gonna be paying rent. It says they shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. It says, and I will plant them upon their land, which is Israel, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, saith Yahweh thy power. So there it is. Psalms 2 and 8, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. This is righteousness with the Lord, man. This is righteousness. We're going to have the heathen. It says, thou shalt break them with a rod of iron and shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. See? We ain't going to be kind to you. We're going to rule you with vigor. Let's read Psalms 149:4. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. That's us. It says, let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. The saints of the Israelites. It says, let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand. Why? To execute vengeance upon the heathen and to punish and punishments upon the people. See? It's all about us getting our lick back to the heathen, man. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. So that's their nobles and their kings are going in chains, man. And that's talking about, you know, everyone wants to get their hands on Kill Bates and Donald Trump, Fauci, you know, all of them, man. Noah Yuval Harari, because they're all gonna escape the Jeff Bezos. They're all gonna escape the nukes, but the Lord is setting them up to survive the nuclear holocaust, so that they can be the first fruits of slavery. They're gonna be. It's gonna be a high bid over them. We're gonna be bidding for these people, man. Okay. It says to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, yokes of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. See, everyone wants to get their hands on Bill Gates and all that, but that's reserved for the saints. That's a part of the reward that the Lord is going to give us. He's going to allow us to have them in our possession, man. Imagine having Bill Gates working on your plantation. Oh man, that would be beautiful.
Oh, what's his name? BB, not a real Jew.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine having him? It's gonna be a high price for him, man. Whoever has him is blessed. Telling you, imagine having him on your plantation, man. You think you're gonna be kind to him? Come on, man. These people are going to receive a harsh judgment, man. Is that it on that? That is it on that. Let's move on. Let's just start down here. Joel 3:6. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. That's what it's all about. That's what the Bible's about. This is the gospel, man. This is the good news. But it's not good news to everyone, obviously, because the Bible is not for everyone. Hopefully you're starting to understand. This is good news. This is the patience and the faith of the saints, man. Joel 3:8, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for Yahweh have spoken it. Through. You can't get around it, man. That's it on that. One more preset, and we'll close it out with a quick. Ooh. Oh, it keeps doing that, man. Right, one more preset in Lamentations, and then I'm gonna play a video, and then we'll close it out. All right. Lamentations 4:21, because the point is made. It says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom." So this is what you got to do, Esau, so-called white man. Your job is to have as much fun as you can. Just live it up, man. You know, have as many Epstein Islands as you want. Do whatever you want, man.
One big going out of business. So one big going out of
Yeah,
business.
one big. That's it. That's it. It's going out of business sale. Just go all out, man. Get as much as you can out of this place because it's done. It says, Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Meaning everything that we went through is going to happen to you. You didn't consider that. Even our people don't consider that. They thinking when, they just want equality with this devil, not knowing the whole time the Bible said what's going to happen. They're going to have to go through what we went through and worse, man. By the time this is said and done, it's going to be like, wow. Boy, the Lord really judged them. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. Right? So we've drank that cup. We endured. We got through it. It was hard, but we got through it. Because this condition we're in right now, it ain't forever, man. That's why it says the punishment of thine iniquity. Iniquity is sin upon sin. We sinned against the Lord by sacrificing the idols, man. So the Lord punished us for that. That's what the whole Bible's about. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished. So we've done our time, O daughter of Zion, the Israelites. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. See? So the Lord visited our iniquity, but now he's getting ready to visit Edom's iniquity, the Edomites. You think they're really going to get away with what they've done to this earth and what they did to us? It says he will discover thy sins. So the Lord, your sins have reached up to heaven, man. Just like we read in the book of Revelations, chapter, 18? Yeah. Revelations 18:5, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities, because America is synonymous with Edom, with Esau. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. It says, remember, O actually, yeah. We'll leave that there, man. That's it.
Let me just bring out one last precept.
Yeah, Khan.
Yeah, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. It says, He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. So, like my brother was just saying, we already had, the Lord already visited our iniquities, and we were punished for it. But now he's going to go over to the Edomites and the other nations, right? So it says, 140. This is Psalms 147, verse 20. It says, He have not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. They haven't seen the judgment of the Lord yet. That's why, in their minds, they think they're going to rule forever. The Lord's about to visit them, and they're about to receive that judgment. Mm-hmm. That judgment ain't going to be something nice.
And they don't understand how the Lord gets down. They don't understand the judgment, because they're steady thinking that God is all love and all that, right? Sadly mistaken, man. They're going to know the judgment of the Lord by the time it's said and done. Okay?
That's right.
They're going to know how the Lord gets down. When they see that everything we've been prophesying about actually comes true, then it's going to sink in. What's what, how the Lord, the true God of Israel gets down. They're going to know, man. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. We're going to play this last video, and then we'll close it out. All right. Check this out. And this is by Manatazak Ben Yamyan 144. This video that I'm about to play. And I put the link to the video from the intro of this lesson and the video to the outro. I've put the links to both of them videos in the description box for those that want to subscribe to them channels. And you would be wise to do so. Brothers bring out loads of good videos, constantly edifying. Okay. All right, check this out.
This never ends. We're worked to the bone. I can't take much more.
Gather around. We have our auction to have this buck cracker. This big buck cracker is very healthy, very strong, from Western Europe. I would like to start my bidding at $1,000.
I'll give you $1,500 for him.
Mr. Jackson, you can't keep coming up here trying to buy my product before everybody else.
Really?
Yes,
Well, let me ask him.
very well.
Now, am I being unfair to y'all?
Nah, we ain't say nothing like that. Nah, we ain't say nothing like that at all.
Uh-huh. Wrap him up.
Not so fast. I'll give you $1,600 for him.
Oh, well. Seems we have ourselves an auction here.
1,700.
$1,800.
1,850.
1,900.
3,000.
Ooh-wee. My cracker worth 3,000? 3,000 going once? Mr. Wayne? Going once? 3,000 going twice? This cracker sold to the Jackson plantation.
Wrap him up. That's my cracker.
I love that bit. That's my cracker. Now that movie is called Cracker, and they did everything they could to try and hide that movie from the public. They do not want people seeing that because it terrifies Esau, man. It really irks them inside to see, you know, us ruling over them. But unfortunately for them, it's gonna be their reality soon, man.
Did I not say the mules were to be watered before sun touched the field? And yet there they stand. You boys need to get back to work, or I'll have to work this whip. Now! I said, what is your name, boy?
My name is Toby.
You need to pick up the pace, James. I need 200 pounds by sunset.
Yes, sir. I'm on it, Master.
I paid $128 for James. How does he have sunburn already? This is absurd. I demand a refund, or I'll declare war upon the Johnsons. My love, I need you to write the Johnsons. I'm displeased with James and demand immediate restitution. Mr. Brown wants a refund for James. Why does he think he got him so cheap?
The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
I wish the Israelites would just leave us alone.
The only deliverance the other nations are going to get is deliverance right into slavery. They're going to be our slaves, thus saith the Lord. Jeremiah 30:16 tells you every last one of the other nations which are non-Israelites are going into captivity. They're going into slavery underneath the Israelites when the Israelites go back into rulership.
I wish the Israelites would just leave us alone.
When is the Israelites going to go back into rulership? When the Lord comes. That's what he's coming to do. He's coming to set up the Israelites in rulership, beginning with King David. And when I say rulership, meaning the planet Earth, we're going to be ruling the planet Earth in righteousness. After he puts down the wicked. Who's the wicked? The Edomites, which are in power right now. Who are the Edomites? The so-called white man, beginning with those top banking families, which happen to be so-called white people. We're talking about the Rothschilds, Rockefellers. We're talking about the DuPonts. We're talking about the Gettys, the Oppenheimers, and families like that. Okay, so when Yahushua comes back, he's going to take away their rulership, which they're enjoying right now. That's the long and short of it, of this ministry, man.
I wish the Israelites would just leave us alone.
The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
This never ends.
We're worked to the bone.
Can't take much more.
Did I not say the mules were to be watered before sun touched the field? And yet there they stand. You boys need to get back to work, or I'll have to work this whip. Now! I said, what is your name, boy?
My name is Toby.
I wish the Israelites would just leave us alone.
Hey,
This
man.
never.
It's beautiful, man. You know, it's something beautiful to them that are gonna be, you know, happy at the Lord's arrival, man. But for those of you that think that that's harsh, that's wicked, that's evil, that's cruel, you got a soft spot for them, it's a good sign that you ain't part of the elect, man. Because this is what the saints are patiently waiting for. Revelations 13, verse 9 through 10. All right, so that's it. You know, points made. Heathens are building up our kingdom, man, just like we built up their wicked kingdom. It's thus saith the Lord, man. All right, so on that note, close it out here. We'll give it all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh,
Bahashem,
Yahushai,
Bahashem,
Bahasham, Rachad,
Kodash.
Kodash, Shalom.
Shalom.